Hi. I feel like it's so weird being on this channel, seeing my face. But anyway, I'm here today to teach. It's a strong word. To teach some tools in Clip Studio XO. XO because it might be different from Pro and from the trial version, so keep that in mind while we're going through this. Also, 50% off. They usually do 50% off, so appreciate those discounts. And this is based upon my knowledge. I'm not saying I am a grand god, but this is about what I know and what I think could possibly help someone out there who is starting out in digital art during this time and age, or maybe years later, who knows. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, before we get into it, we're going to be covering the ones on my other side, right there. We will be talking about those selection tools and what they do and how they work. So first off, it's very simple. It's a square or rectangle, however you want to shape it. Boom, you got yourself a square. The next one's a circle or an oval. Very simple, easy stuff. Next is a lasso. A lasso is more like you can choose the shape, you can shape it however you would like. And then you got a polyline, which is more sharp edges, and you gotta close it, or you can remove a point if you decided, hey, that is not where I wanted that point, so I want it back. So we're gonna take off that point, then we're going to keep going and then close that selection. And next is a selection pen, which is a little more specific and a little more like, I want this area right here. So now you got that area selected. Or maybe you're like, well, I didn't want that area, I changed my mind. So we're gonna grab the selection eraser, and then we're going to erase that area, and now we got a half moon. And then we got the shrink selection. I will show you this with the pencil first. So we have that area selected. We're going to grab the shrink selection and then go like this, and then it selects what you have drawn on that layer. So it's going to just encase the selection into what you have drawn. Well, within that selection, obviously, because the words below in the corner aren't selected, only the area that we have selected. Okay, now that we know what we're doing, we're going to get into more not so complicated stuff because we don't want to scare anyone. So I'm gonna use the lasso. Okay, now I'm gonna do this on a separate layer so you guys know what's up. We're going to title this one, you can see above my head the layers. This one's the heart, and this one's the fill-in, but I name it SDW because it's just shadow. So anyway, we're gonna pick a different color. Okay, so if we hold Control D, it deselects it. Control Z. Control Z is what returns our selection, and it essentially erases any issue that you have made. Like, oh, I didn't mean to draw that, or I just was trying something out for a second, I want to see if it worked or not. Control Z, it'll return you back to its original state, don't even worry about it. So now we have our selection. Control Shift I. Now the area is outside of our selection. So we selected that circle, it's no longer inside, it's outside. So there we go. Control Z, Control Shift I, and then now we're back inside. Isn't that cool? And then here we go. I'm going to show you basically some of the stuff below and how to use it. This one's deselect, essentially what I said, the Control D Control Shift D, and then crop to that area. So now you don't have the rest of the canvas, you just have the area you have selected. And then here we have expand selected area. Choose how much you would like to expand it by. We're not going to see a bunch because it was by 1. Now we have shrink selected area by how much. Let's put a little more so we see a little more effect. Yeah. It would do more. It closed in the circle from what it originally was. See, it was a little minute, but it was there. This completely deletes it, which would be Control X. And this would delete the outside section. So bye bye Illy. And this is cut and paste. So now we have an additional layer up above of the heart. So I hide this layer and it's still there. And then we have copy and paste. There you go. And this is scale and rotate. This is as if you were holding Control T. So now we can alter the heart however we please. Little heart, massive heart, however you please. And if you want to alter it more, like make it skinnier or wider, it's Control Shift T. So you go like this or like this, and you have an altered heart. There you go. And now this last one, U-tone. This one's used more in, I would say, manga. When you see those little dots and those patterns and you want to know how it goes about, let's do it on the bottom layer. So this one's gonna do a halftone. There you go. And you can pick what type of tone you would like. So, I don't think you guys can see it. Oh, you can't. But essentially it opens up a new little tab and it tells you, hey, how big would you like these tone patterns, and what type of tone would you like? Like, would you like this shape or that shape? It essentially just gives you options on how you would like it to look. We're gonna go to this, the magic wand. I'm putting it in the same section as basically the selection tool because that's essentially what it does. So refer to editing layer only. This is going to limit what you can select, only to the layer you are currently on. So right now I have it, so how would I describe this? So anything that looks essentially similar can be selected. So essentially, since that empty area, even if it's not touching or anything, it'll be selected. This would go the same if I like had 2 pink colors and the same layer, but even if they're not touching, they're like across the screen, they would be selected. It's pretty simple and nice. This refers to all layers, which I'll show you going through here. Or actually, let me close this. Okay, so now you see that there's lines there. We have referred to all layers. Whoops, hold on. Now it's only in that section. Even if we're not in that top layer where all the lines are, it's still going to only select that area that I pointed out. So it's not going to touch any other area except that area, even if it's not on the same layer. And I can fill it in with green. Anyway, this one, so essentially applied to connected pixels. You know how I mentioned that when I select stuff, even if they're across the screen, it will still touch, like it will still encase those 2 colors. This will no longer do that. It's only to connected pixels. If it is not connected, it will not select the other one. For example, I'm in here and it's only going to close in that small square. It's not going to touch any other open space except that square because it is enclosed and it's not touching any other open space. So close the gap, sorry, is if there is actually cut in the line, like in the corner down here, right here, you put this on and it says close gap. So it's going to try to close it for you. Right now it can't because I have the setting pretty low. So let's try this one. That is a pretty big gap actually. No, it closed it. It's just that it will do it for you. Like, it doesn't mean that it will do it 100% too nice looking or anything. It's just that it will close it for you. For example, see that? It's closed. Area scaling has more to do with how far out it goes out from the filling, if that makes sense. So, see how it's on the lines? Like, it's no longer within the lines and respecting that sort of thing. Like, oops, hold on. It'll paint over the lines because the scaling is so like out, especially when it's painting in. So this one just goes over the line. I would recommend this if you're more of a line artist and your lines are thick, especially if you want to fill in stuff. It's good because then you don't have the little crisp white lines as you're trying to fill in your stuff. Like, it's pretty good. And these up here is essentially what I taught you. Oh wait, no, I haven't taught you that one yet. I like. Okay, for this one I have to do apply to. Okay, so right now I have this little heart selected, right? And then I hold shift, and now we have another section of the heart selected. So that is basically where's this one? Add to selection. So now you don't have to hold the button in order to do it. You just hold shift instead of clicking on the button. And this one's remove from selection. There we go, and it's gone. I don't know the hotkeys for it, so I'm using this thingy for it. Select from selection. This is more within the circle of the circle. So I literally know this. I've done this a few times. It's just that more when I was a line artist than when I am now a lineless artist, because now I use more layers in terms of drawing on top of stuff. No, it's a better way to do this. Hold on. Okay. So now we're gonna press on not that. I'm gonna press on select from selection. And there we go. It's just that it does follow the lasso or the area that you selected because this thing is trimmed right here. So I would suggest more probably the shrink lasso, like the one that you saw here. Shrink selection. Well, it's basically the same thing, but I would probably recommend that one more unless you really want some areas out of it for some reason. I mean, completely up to you, whatever is more convenient. But that is more for that is more for what you want, included and excluded. But I would say that is all for the lasso and selection. I mean, if you still have more questions, I'm happy to find out because I am also still learning on this stuff. I do use it on occasion. I wouldn't say as much, but I use it on good occasion. Okay, class. I hope this has taught you something. I will get better at explaining stuff and I don't know. I hope this helped in some sort of way. I really do, because I know I also learned some things along the way. I was like, oh my god, wow, I knew these things, but like hotkeys. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will do my absolute best to figure them out. Because I like to figure things out. I'm built different. But anyway, if you enjoyed and it helped you a little bit, subscribe, maybe help me reach 200. But that is all for me. Bye bye.